Are you ready? For September? Because it's coming. Here he comes. Draw your bow. Smoked him, man. Welcome to the next installment of the School of September series, brought to you by the Western Huntsman Podcast, in conjunction and partnership with Phelps Game Calls and Scream Extreme Mountain Gear. Elk Hunting 201. Class is in session.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Jim Huntsman, the host of the Western Huntsman Podcast. Welcome to the final installment for School of September in the year 2021. I am really excited to get this one out here. This is the first, well, no, it's not the first School of September I've had with live guests, but I've got a really cool situation going on here. In front of me, I've got two of the most legitimate hunters I've ever seen or met. And they are sitting here we're crammed into the Broken Tine studio, my little 20-foot hunting trailer, and we've got all three mics rolling. So to my left, I got Tyler Oaks. Say hi.
How's it going, guys?
And to my right, or right across from me, I got Jacob Denham, fellow Clark Fork. What do we call that? Clark Forkian?
Fork, yeah.
Something.
Fork, yep.
We're all fellow North Idahoans.
Yes, sir.
And I am really excited about this. I've been wanting to get, actually, Jacob, I've been wanting to really get you on the show for a long time. I've been following you with your wolf hunting. These guys are wolf slayers. I'd love to tell that story you told me out there, but we're probably not going to do that on this episode.
We'll keep it a little quiet.
We'll keep that one on the down low for now, but it's coming.
Yep.
It's coming.
Yep.
And we are just knocking on the door of September, guys. We have a couple of announcements here real quick before we kick this off. But we did get one entry from a guy I know named Tyler Oaks, who happens to be sitting here. I think that brings us up to a total of 2 entries so far since we've announced it. Of course, this isn't coming out for a few days, but for our Tacticam Giveaway, guys. So that's where you're going to take your cell phone or whatever recording device you're doing, and you are going to be just film yourself out scouting and just tell us what your name is, where you're from, what state you're scouting, nothing too serious detail-wise, and send it over to me at jim@thewesternhuntsman.com, and that'll get you entered in to win the Spotter LR from Tacticam. I'm adjusting my levels here. Hang on, here we go. There we go. I told these guys this is like redneck as you get when you're here at the Broken Tines. So with that, guys, I do have another announcement for a Phelps Game Call giveaway. You're going to be wanting to watch the Instagram and the Facebook for that, so check us. I should have that out by hopefully before I head off to elk camp. When are you guys heading out?
Sunday
night.
Yep. Sunday night.
Sunday it is, and it's on. And you guys won't be. We're going to be hunting the same kind of area, so I know kind of where you're going to be camping, but I'm going to pop in and say hi.
Heck yeah.
You better, man.
We might as well. I hope so, man.
I'll have to call you in a bull.
I need somebody to, because I can't seem to make it work.
Tyler's the guy.
Well, that's what he says, but
so I want to get a little bit of background from you guys. Like, you want to start, Jacob?
Sure.
Tell us where you're from and
Sure.
how you grew up.
So I was born in Denver, Colorado, and my dad was a carny, and my mom lived here in North Idaho her whole life, and so they met at the carnival, and then we moved back to Colorado, or they moved, and then I was born. Then my mom was like, "Nope, I'm going home." So
She said, "Hell with Colorado."
Yep. And then I was born in Colorado and then moved here. My dad showed up a couple months later, and then pretty much didn't get to hunt very much as a kid. So my dad tried probably when I was 12, bought a rifle, wounded a couple deer, and then my mom's like, "We could have bought a half beef for what you just spent on everything." So
yeah,
basically, I didn't get to hunt until I was 18.
Oh wow!
And so I just went and bought a 300 Win mag, killed a 6x7 whitetail first week I was out.
Holy crap, man.
And so then I was hooked ever since. And
Jeez.
yeah, then I met Mike Cregan, a guy in Clark Fork, he been here a long time, took me under his wing, and started teaching me how to elk hunt. And then it was good. So.
That's crazy, man. Like, so you didn't grow up hunting. Your dad wasn't a big time hunter.
Nope.
Where did it come from? Because like you're just immersed. Your life is hunting.
I just always had a passion for wanting to be out in the outdoors, basically. So I fished. Me and my dad always fished like all the time. So then I had buddies that hunted, and I went with them a couple times. But then I was like, yeah, my mom said it was a waste of money, so I was like, I'm proving you wrong. So, and sure enough, I did. And now I was like, yeah, every time I go out, I bring something home for the family.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
it's pretty
pretty
cool.
sure my mom said that at one point too.
Yeah.
So,
but yeah, it's pretty cool.
That's awesome. That's
then,
awesome.
Yeah.
It's cool. Like in town right here where we live in Clark Fork, Jacob's like he's pretty much famous.
Yeah.
You know, everybody knows you.
Yep.
You were super involved in the community with the fireworks over the 4th of July and with the Clark Fork Rod and Gun Club, right?
Yes,
That's who put all that on.
Yep.
And I mean, there's pictures of you with your wolves you've trapped down at the gas station, and everybody knows Jacob. Yep. So it's pretty cool to actually have you here in the studio. So appreciate you joining me. Yeah, it's cool. Tyler, what about you, man? Give us before we do. Are you hot? Are you guys hot?
No, I'm good.
I can crank on the AC. It's a little warm in here.
I'm good.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
I was born and raised here in Sandpoint, Idaho, and basically grew up. My dad. Family really never did hunt. The only one that ever really hunted was my grandpa, and my dad on my mom's side. And he finally started. Dad got into it. Well, him and my uncle got into just the big buck hunting. That's what they wanted to do. And Grandpa, first time I ever went hunting, I was 3 years old. And he took me out behind the house and strapped on my cap guns and went out with him deer hunting.
Nice.
And then I've just been hooked ever since then. But other than that, just been. Basically, everything I've learned is all myself.
Yeah.
A little bit from my grandpa on the whitetail side, but nobody for elk hunting in my family at all. So everything that I've done has been my success and learning all by myself.
And who do you guys guide for again? Is it Clark Fork Outfitters?
Yep.
Yeah. So a couple guys that's when you know you have like legitimate hunters on the show. Is they're guides. And are you guys booked up this year with clients? Yeah, pretty busy.
Yeah.
You're not taking them to the spot where we were talking earlier, right? Okay, good.
A lot of them can't make it in those spots.
So what's funny with Tyler, a couple years ago when I had my first version of stickers made, that's how I knew like these guys are pretty legit hunters, or maybe it was more that it reinforced the thought that maybe I'm a little bit legit, which is a little laughable, right?
Heck yeah,
but I'm up in one of my favorite spots, and it's the area actually I shot old Broken Tines in, and I was gonna go hunt there, and I see this badass truck, and I can tell you have hounds and everything else, and you're parked where I usually park, and so. What I think a lot of hunters need to start working on and maybe doing was a lot like this. It's like this is my fellow hunter here, and he knows where he's at. It's a great area. I don't own it. It's public land. So instead of getting upset about it, I put a Western Huntsman sticker on your truck, and then he reached out to me on like Facebook or something.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So it was cool.
Been on my coffee cup for 2 years ever since.
I just gave you an upgraded version, man.
Heck yeah, they're gonna be right there with it, plus more.
So I want to know how you guys are camping. You're heading out on Sunday, which is we're recording this on a Friday night, and you're heading out Sunday. Are you guys in a wall tent? Are you in a trailer?
Right now we got two campers up there.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Like cab over kind of things?
Yeah. Campers kind of like this.
Oh, like this one?
Pole behind.
Yep. And then if they ever open up some of our other units, we'll start backpacking in. Yeah. But for right now, we'll just stay out of there, kind of local, because we got a bunch of good spots out there where we're going to go run around, see if we can get into them, kind of like we did this morning. So
yeah. You guys sent in that video. You had that little spike in front of you. Yeah. Do you guys have like a preference for backpacking versus like a base camp kind of thing?
Just depends. I mean, me personally, I really like getting in the backcountry.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I've had great success both ways.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've had clients kill 353 bulls out of a camper.
Yeah.
I've had clients open doors, and I got bulls screaming out of the camper doors right in front of them.
Shoot, man, I'll hire you. Take me there.
You know, and
I need that spot.
I've had some guys come up and go, "There's no way you're hearing elk like that." And I go, "Come on up. I'll tell you. You open the truck door and you'll hear elk every day."
Huh.
And I've had them scream to my door creaking.
I had last year. We're camped. We're camped, and I had my whole family up there, and we're in what we're sitting in now. So this is not normally a permanent structure like it is now. It's usually the mobile hunting trailer, right? And I get back, and it'd been a hell of a long day, a lot of miles. I didn't hear a bugle all freaking day, and I mean I probably put on 7-8 miles, which these are North Idaho miles, right? And we could talk about that. Yeah. But these are rough miles. Anyway, I get back to camp. It's like 10 o'clock at night. I'm exhausted. I sit down in front of the fire. My wife had a fire going. I take my boots off, and no shit, like 150 yards away, this bull starts screaming, man. Like, are you kidding me? Oh. Like, we're almost we're on a pretty busy dirt road camped, and this thing's just screaming right outside of camp.
Oh, yeah. I got a bull that's been plaguing me for about 5 years doing that same thing. You go hunt all day, you walk right past where he is in the morning, come right back, he's quiet all morning, come back to camp, right at dark, he's down there screaming. You drop in there right at night and try to get him, he just shuts up.
That's awesome.
So, but we're going to get him one of these times.
One of these days.
One of these days, yeah, it's coming. His time's coming. Mm-hmm. What I like about you guys, too, in terms of being hunters and outdoorsmen, is that you guys bring it full circle in terms of you're aware of one of the issues that we've talked about on this show a lot, which is wolves. Mm-hmm. And what they've done to our elk here in North Idaho, and what they've done in Montana, and I mean even in Washington and Oregon, you know. Talk to us a little bit, Jacob. Let's start with you. Talk to us a little bit about wolf trapping, and I mean you've killed a lot of wolves, dude.
Yeah. So first I said just first of all I just started with learning how to do it. I mean I followed Justin Webb and my neighbor Lane Matthews for 2 years before I even set a trap in the ground. I mean, the wolves are so smart, and anyone can go out and set a trap.
Mm-hmm.
But if they see one little thing, got one little hair, they'll shy away from that trap. I mean, it's crazy nuts. How smart a wolf is. I mean, and they're just devastating our elk herd. I mean, and everything. They eat anything. So,
yeah.
And the last couple years, though, we've been putting a hurting on them. So,
yeah,
elk hunting's getting better around here. So
I feel like we're finally getting to the point, and a lot of this is because of F4WM and those efforts. But I feel like we're getting to the point where we're getting a handle on the growth of the population each year.
Yeah.
And when I say we, I mean me buying a membership to F4WM so you guys can go out and do your thing, because I don't know shit about trapping wolves, man.
And that's what we need, though. We need many people to support the people that can do it. I mean, because anyone can go buy traps and set wolf. I mean, and you're just gonna make the wolf smarter, though. Is the biggest thing.
Yeah, that's what I worry about. That's why I haven't done it.
Yeah.
Like I'd educate those wolves. Do you guys? What do you think is harder, calling in a bull elk in September or trapping a wolf?
So the hardest thing I ever done in my life was catch a wolf.
Really?
I spent, I don't know, it was over a year. Well, my very first year I ever started. Well, it took me pretty much. I was 10 days left of season. And I caught that wolf.
Really?
And I spent from October 10th into the woods every third day checking gear, and I had one wolf pull out of my foothold.
Mm-hmm.
And I spent 2 years learning before I did anything. So basically I was trying to learn how, but it took me 9 months. And like Lane Matthews, he said he didn't catch a wolf his first year.
Yeah.
I mean, so it takes a lot to learn how. And so, it was 10 days left in season, and I finally hooked up.
Finally got one.
So, and it was the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. So,
God, nuts, dude. It's gotta be. What about you, Tyler? Is that like kind of same opinion?
Yeah. I haven't caught one yet, but I've called them in with our predator.
Oh, you have called them?
Yeah.
How do you call them? Are you just like, are you howling with a bugle tube like I got here, or is it?
We're using Fox Pros.
Fox Pros?
Yeah.
Okay, so I need to get one.
We called in a couple packs last year.
Yeah.
First time we actually went out, we only had our pistols.
We were just scouting for elk.
They come walking up the draw right in front of us, and then two big black ones. I got video of them come walking out right across the corner yards from us. So we're like, well, let's go back in there the next day and take the Foxborough and try to see if we can go get him. And we actually got video of the whole thing, and of course me missing, but shot right over,
They're tough, man.
over the top of him, man. Just
Yeah.
because I was shooting down like 60-degree angle though, and I just didn't compensate for aiming a little lower. And
Oh man, I want to go with you guys when we do that. I hate to invite myself.
Oh,
but
man, we
like
love-
I am. I
love to
used
have
to
people.
back in the day. I was a prolific coyote caller and slayer of coyotes because they had a bounty on them, and that's how I made my gas money, right? And so I've never really translated that to wolves, and so I'd love to see that. I'd love to see how that goes down.
it was, it's been a long time since I've been shaken like that at an animal.
Oh man,
Like,
how far away were they?
It was 318 yards downhill, but it was shooting like almost vertical down.
Jeez, dude.
Before he shot, he turned to me and he's like, I can't quit shaking. I'm like, just breathe.
I was
Take a deep breath.
I've shot some big bulls, and I've never been shaken like that for a long time.
That's awesome. That's freaking badass. And just so for a lot of you listening, because and I don't know if you guys know this, but we have listeners all over the world, right? Mm-hmm. And mainly what our listenership is of Western hunters. And so for anybody in like the northern half of the American West can start to understand what the wolves' impact has been on us. And I would even argue that even northern Idaho versus southern Idaho, there is a very huge disparity in perspective between folks in southern Idaho and us, and the impacts that we've had. And so what we're talking, none of us. So before any of you send me nasty emails, just know that it's not like we hate wolves. We just want them managed. Yeah. I think they're cool. I think they're cool. That's a great animal, but they need to be managed. And for a long time, due to these animal rights activists and this litigation and a lot of the let's just call it what it is, bullshit. These things were not managed, and so it's really affected our elk herds. And because of the efforts of you guys, people like you guys, I noticed a huge influx in elk activity in 2019. 2020 was a weird year, but there was a ton of elk activity for me. Yeah. And this is just what I noticed. I felt like we've made this change and we're seeing a difference. Not that it's super significant yet, but there is a change in the air with our elk and how this management system has been working. And so now Montana even has the opportunity because they changed all their laws there.
Yep. Yeah, that's fantastic.
And you guys, I have to keep you sober enough because you got the banquet for F4WM tomorrow in Kalispell.
Yep, I gotta leave early in the morning.
It's okay, his wife can drive.
Yep. Look, Justin, if you're listening, it's not my fault if these guys show up a little green, but we are drinking whiskey tonight.
That's right.
So no, that's good.
I'm drinking Mountain Dew now.
Oh, now you're drinking Mountain Dew. Well, give it a minute. I'll get you some whiskey. It's a rare thing for me to have people actually in the studio, and I had a buddy of mine in last night, and now you guys tonight, and so it's kind of fun being able to have somebody in person. But I suppose since this is School of September, we should talk about elk a little bit.
Yeah.
I want to talk about the one question that always comes to me when I'm talking to like a hunting guide. Does anything change for you when you've got a client versus if you're out hunting for yourself? And I don't mean area. Obviously, areas are going to change or whatever. But like, what's the dynamic difference there? Does that make sense? How I'm asking that? Yeah. Like, you're probably a lot more aggressive without a client, right? Or am I off base? I don't know.
Oh, it just really depends on the client. I mean, last year, if you got a guy that hike, you can be a little more aggressive. I mean, but most of the clients we get, I mean, it's unfortunate, but I mean, they retire and they can afford it now. They can finally go out and hunt, but they can't. I mean, we live in North Idaho, and
why would they pick North Idaho? Do they say?
It's just because, I mean, it's over counter tag. And
that makes sense.
I mean, a lot of states you can't just go buy an over counter tag. So I mean, but I had a 70-year-old guy shoot a 339 bull. He came out 4 years in a row.
In my spot.
Oh, he took your spot.
No. Yes, he did. No. See the smile?
It was shared spot. We started hunting together, and So anyways, but I mean, they can do it. You just got to be in shape, and I mean, and shoot, Tyler's had guys that can barely walk, and he'll get them bulls. I mean,
calling them in mainly.
Calling them in, yeah.
Well, and you guys guide for rifle season too, don't you?
Yep.
How much calling do you guys do when you're guiding for rifle season?
To me, it just depends on if I hear the bulls. If I hear them talking, I'll go get in there and mix in with them and start talking.
When you hear bulls talking or cows?
Bulls and cows.
Okay, so both.
Then I start trying to act like them and trying to do their rutting phase. Like last year, I ended up killing my second bull because I bought 2 tags last year.
Uh-huh.
I ended up killing my second one, and I ended up getting him because the calf was down there running around making calf sounds, and then all of a sudden he just started screaming because I started cow calling on the far side. Well, I ended up pulling him about a mile or half a mile from the other side all the way to me on this side.
And
where I was, and ended up shooting him at 70 yards with my rifle.
And he was bugling?
He was screaming the whole way.
What do you remember, like, what day of the month was it? Because this is a hot topic.
It was October 11th.
Okay, so not that far into October. Okay, so first couple of weeks of October, they're still screaming their heads off.
But I have had bulls at 25th through the 29th in that second or third phase of the rut.
Oh, on that A tag, yeah.
Going nuts.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I've never gotten one fired up then.
Yeah, I've had open the door, and I've had bulls right next to us just fired up because they got a hot cow and they're running back and forth.
That's pretty cool. That's good to know.
Yeah.
Because I was like, so in Idaho, for those of you listening outside of Idaho, you have all September on the A tag, and then if you strike out, you have like 5 days at the end of October. And I've had to go out those 5 days a couple times, and it's like, man, I can't get a sound. All I do is I did bugle off this ridge once, and like 30 elk ran out of this drainage through this clear cut and up and over the top. I don't even know if there were bulls with them or not. Yeah. They're like, nope.
Yeah, it just depends on the area. I mean, and if there's a hot cow, they'll be talking. But yeah, the first week of October when we can start hunting with rifle, usually pretty good for calling. I mean, last year, 4 of the 5 days I guided last year had bulls talking. I mean, so just depends on the area. And I mean, we had killed the 4x4 bull. He was just down in the draw, seen the track and called, and he just came right up. I mean, we shot him 15 yards.
Oh, really?
Off the trail. So I mean, it was pretty cool. I mean, so
that's way cool.
Yeah. So
it's always that's one of the questions I get a lot, and actually I'm kind of ramming this one home a little bit more than usual, just because I've been getting a lot of emails and questions about, hey, you talk all the time about September elk hunting, but never October or even late season November. Do you guys guide in like November at all for the muzzy?
A little bit every now and then.
Every once in a while we'll get a hunt, but most of the time it's September and October.
Yeah,
so. Most of the time, if we haven't killed one by then, that's when we're hunting for ourselves.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah. Yeah, very true. So I never want to feel like I'm leaving rifle hunters out in October. I can't help them because I don't hunt rifle at all, almost at all. So
that's how I
with elk. I mean, I hunt a lot of deer with rifles, but
that's how I mostly started.
Yeah, with rifle.
And then I got into it later on. Well, I got more into the archery because being a youth back when I grew up, you could hunt anything. Basically all the time. You could hunt A or B tag.
Yeah.
As a youth.
Yep, that's how it was when I was a kid too.
Yeah, so it's sweet. So you got to do both. Well, I could always call them in, but when I was younger, I'd always get my buddies' bulls first, and then they'd end up ditching me until I finally found Jacob, and he's been with me ever since.
Yeah.
Like, live or die, we're gonna get 2 elk, 3 elk this year, depending on how many tags we have.
Mm-hmm.
And so most of the time, those guys, I'd always get them bulls right off the bat, first part of the season, and they'd leave me, and I'd have to go try to call one in for myself. Well, I'd get them to come in, but never, that good 30 yards or so.
Sure.
They'd be out there at 50 yards or 60 yards, and
so
it was a lot harder.
Is that kind of like something that you've developed in terms of an opinion where, having like a team calling setup is better than like a solo? Because I am like 99% solo most of the time when I go out. So
being that I've done both, I mean, it works great both ways. You got to figure out how to work more by yourself.
What do you mean by that? Can you kind of drive that home for a lot of the listeners? Like, when you're by yourself, what changes versus having like a caller behind you?
You got to sound like, for me, what's worked the best for me is I can make it sound where I sound like I'm 4 or 5 elk at once.
So you're doing cow calls like one bull or like a couple bulls?
Cow calls, calf calls, mixture of estrus, whines, chirps. Then I'll run back up behind me where I just did all those cow calls, and I'll run up 50, 60 yards, and I'm running the whole time. And then I'll scream and chuckle and rake, and I'll run back down, and then I'll sound like I'm pushing cows. Sound like a whole herd moving through the woods.
Dude, I wish you brought your bugle so you can. Yeah,
I got it in the truck, man.
He's got everything.
Yeah, you better go get your. Can you do that? Go grab your. We'll talk for a minute. Yeah. If you go grab, I have a tube, but I don't have a clean. Unless you want to share some slobber here, I got my reed right here.
No,
he's got his calls.
Yeah, I brought them.
All right, go grab your calls, and we'll hang here. Do you need a drink refill or anything?
No, I'm good right
now.
Okay.
Yep. So there. I don't know. So when you're elk hunting in September, are you generally with?
So we just basically started hunting together. I mean, the last couple of years, but I mean, Tyler last year, basically he was working a full-time job. So, and Justin called my bull in last year, Justin Webb. So, I mean, but I've done it by myself. I mean, one of my buddies taught me how to bow hunt, and he'll go and run right into the bull, and I mean, just get in there, and I mean, have the bull in range and shoot him like that. I mean, I mean, I've killed 4 bulls with my bow, and every one has been different.
Yeah.
So I
know that's the crazy part.
I mean, you just never know the situation. I mean, some of them got to be a little bit easier, or or you can, or you just got to get in their bedroom and get it done. So, I mean,
I got kind of an off-topic question for you guys, for both of you.
Yep.
As guides, what is like some of the top 1 or 2 biggest pet peeves? This is because I know I have listeners out there that are looking to hire a guide, right? Because they ask me, hey, you know any guides? I don't know. I don't know any guys. I know you guys, you know. So what are some pet peeves so some of the listeners that hire a guide can avoid doing them and pissing off their guide in the future?
So the biggest one is slamming the door.
Slamming the door in the truck.
When they get out of the truck, they slam the door.
Uh-huh.
So that's for him.
Oh, yeah. Your opine differs.
Yeah, because I've had elk scream to that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, for me, it's when we're out in the woods and I go to do a calling sequence for them, and they're next to me trying to figure out where that bull is or the herd is.
Yeah.
And they're sitting there, shuffling their feet, turning back and forth, just won't stand still so I can hear it, because I've literally had elk jump up in front of them at 25 yards and come running straight in.
Right, I've been with people that do that. It's irritating, man.
Yeah.
It's like, shut up, stand still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And zippers are my,
I had a
like
guy
out in the woods too. I mean,
okay. So if I get like a magnified sounding zipper when I come hunting with you, I should watch out.
Speaking of that shuffling thing, one of the guys I had from Texas, he killed one of the biggest bulls we've had in Clark Fork for a while. I literally just got done tearing into him about the whole shuffling phase, and he just kind of had this kind of like a dog that just got whipped, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, trust
Tail
me,
between his legs.
it's gonna pay off, man. And we literally go around the next corner, and he just stands still, and I hit my cow call, I think it was, and this bull screams. I'm like, all right. He's like, what's the plan? I was like, well, we've been after these things for 4 days straight now, 3 days straight, and I'm like, we're just going to play the high game. We're going to stay high, and then when we get where I think I know exactly where he is, we're just going to drop down straight on him,
mm-hmm.
and then I'm going to set you up, and we're going to get him. He's like, no. And I was like, all right. I was like, well, the whole way going out there, I'm going to sound like a whole herd of elk that I'm pushing a small bull, pushing a whole bunch of cows right to him, and that's going to drive him nuts. So the whole time we're walking, going straight towards him, and I get to where we're about 200-300 yards where I think he is, and we just bail off.
Mm-hmm.
We get down there, and I'm like, I think he's right here about 150 yards from us. So we set up, and I hit my cow call once, and he's standing from me the Jacob away. I mean, we're 3 feet less, shoulders touching almost. And all of a sudden you hear him.
Oh, shit.
And all of a sudden I look up, and here he comes. 353 bull, 360 bull, comes walks right up on the high side of us at 17 yards. Guy pulls back, shoots him, runs down the hill, and dies at 40 yards from us.
What?
I told you. I was like, glad you didn't start shuffling your feet, right, man?
Okay. So I noticed you got your accoutrements. You have quite the setup there, dude.
Yeah, I got a
like
lanyard.
That's worse than my fly fishing setup. That's nuts. How many calls do you have there?
Well, if you count all the mouth reeds, it's probably about 25 or 30.
Are you as excited as I am about hunting season? Man, it's here, finally, and you still have time to save some money on some great gear by the sponsors who make this show possible. So let me tell you a little bit about them. Scree Gear. Scree is extreme mountain gear, and this is my, third season using Scree, and if it sucked, I would have changed by now. Guys, Scree is high-performance hunting attire. It is scientifically proven. It's backed by a great company. I wouldn't recommend these guys if I didn't believe in them wholeheartedly, and they just keep them on the show because it's great stuff, guys, without breaking the bank. And that's what I really like about the Scree gear. It's every bit as good as that super expensive stuff that you can get out there, but you're not going to break the bank getting it and get all geared up for complete layering systems, all terrain, all conditions, gear designed to adapt to the weather. It's all backed by a lifetime warranty, and when you order online at ScreeGear.com, VIP sizing and exchange program will cover you if you order the wrong size. You can send it back for free, and they'll send you the right size. It's a great company, great gear. Check it out at ScreeGear.com, if I can spit that out right. And use promo code The Western Huntsman for 15% off and free shipping. That is one heck of a deal. Let's roll right into Hoffman Boots. Hoffman Boots, I believe this is like my 8th or 9th season running a pair of Hoffmans. I use the Explorers, and I love the Hoffman Explorers in the 8-inch. You can also get them in the 6-inch. Depends, that's just kind of a personal preference thing. Hoffman Boots are, again, kind of like Scree, where it's a great boot without spending an absorbent amount of money, right? So that's why I use the Hoffman Boots, is because I'm getting everything that I need out of a boot. These are rugged boots. They last a long time. Like I told you, I'm going on like 8 or 9 years with these things, and I'm only on my second pair. They will keep you from sliding down the mountain because they've got excellent traction, excellent waterproofing, excellent everything. Go to hoffmanboots.com and use promo code Huntsman10 for 10% off. Phelps Game Calls, the oldest sponsor on this here Western Huntsman podcast. I am recording this on the opening day of archery elk season, and I've got all my Phelps stuff laid out, ready to go. I use the Maverick, I use the Renegade, I use the new metal tube, all of it. It's great stuff. It has never let me down. I've been using it for a long time. I was one of the first believers in Phelps Game Calls, and you should be too. Go to phelpsgamecalls.com. Use promo code Huntsman10 to save you 10% when on your order, and good luck out there. Here we go, September. And last but not least is Tacticam. Tacticam is a unique sponsor on the Western Huntsman podcast, and you can get all the Tacticam products at thewesternhuntsman.com, a portion of which goes to conservation efforts in fighting against the anti-hunting movement. So be sure to go to thewesternhuntsman.com and pick you up some cameras. You can get I recommend getting 2 cameras if you're going to self-film. Get the 5.0 and get the wide lens. Those 2 you can basically attach to yourself, or if you're in the states that allow it, to a weapon, and film your entire hunt. They also have cool products like the Spotter LR. They have the Reveal cell cameras, which are way cool. We should have those on the website here shortly. And go check it out at thewesternhuntsman.com/gear and let me know what you think. Let's get back to the show, and here we go. Okay, you're going to kind of do what you do in the woods for us.
I can do a little bit,
yeah. Let's hear that, man. And you can just kind of, don't blow them right into the call, or right into the microphone. Just kind of off to the side a little bit. That way it doesn't clip it out.
Just kind of come back here.
You should see this lanyard, guys. I should take a picture of this.
It works. I mean,
it works.
It does look like it works.
So I use a little bit of all. We love the Phelps.
Yep.
I mean, that is one of my
you
go-to.
got the pink, Phelps pink.
Oh man, they go nuts.
I'm gonna tell my buddy Dirk.
I'm Maverick guy.
Come on, Dirk. We'll have a calling contest. I'm not that good.
Yeah. All right, let's hear it.
But
this is one dude doing this, so you guys listening.
And if I want to get real crazy, I got, a couple other ones that make even more. But
okay, so let me ask you something. You've got all that going on, right? And then you do that for a time period. And just so I wish sometimes this podcast was recorded over video so you guys could see. But so basically what Tyler has is he's got like this lanyard. He's got some mouth open reeds. He's got some mouth reeds. He's got, all sorts of different calls. What are those? You've got what the hell are those called from Hoochie Mamas? I was drawing a blank on him. Yeah, he's got a couple of Hoochie Mamas.
We got the baby. We got the mom. We got the hyperlip double.
You've got all these different,
hot lips. Me personally, I always see it as every elk likes a different tone.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, nothing wrong with Phelps at all. I love them. They've brought in us so many elk.
Mm-hmm.
But I've also found bulls where this stupid looking hot lips from Primo's.
Hot Lips, huh?
Has brought in a bull.
I always like their names. Hot Lips.
That I could not get any other call to work, and he jumped up 60 yards from us and ran straight in, and the guy shot him at 10 yards.
That's true. They do like the different variations in sounds. So how long are you doing that little sequence or whatever you want to call that?
It just depends. I need to send you a video.
Actually, let's back up. We're gonna come back to this. Let's say, and both of you either one chimes in, because kind of and I try to explain this with every School of September episode. And I know it might sound redundant to some people, but I know, guys, we're a half an hour into this, and I have not really explained this, but the School of September is our series where we get all sorts of different elk experts on as we approach the month of September, so that new hunters or experienced hunters alike can take all this information from all these different experts and kind of put it in their toolbox and pull it out during elk season. Okay, I covered that part. So I want to back up, and I want to kind of put it in from the perspective of somebody who's maybe only been hunting for a couple of years, or maybe they're brand new. This is their first season, or hell, maybe it's their 10th season, but they just started wanting to kind of educate themselves on it, right? And so they're listening to this. Can you guys walk us through what just like a bird's eye view of what your day looks like in September? What time do you start? How far do you go from the truck? And we're talking about base camp, not backcountry just yet. Make sense?
Yeah. So basically, a lot of times we'll go out and we'll do some night bugling or trying to locate them, trying to figure out where there is. Because there's been times where we have gone out in the early mornings, like, there should be a whole bunch of elk in this area because we got recon, cameras, everything, and we've had duds. So we've learned that any way we can, we'll go do some night bugling, or heck, we'll even get up at 1, 2 in the morning and leave camp, and then we'll just drive through some of our spots, and we'll stop at each spot.
Go 100 yards off the road and bugle and something answers, and we'll wait.
I think one thing that would be important to interject here is the uniqueness of the ability to do that in North Idaho.
Yeah.
Like if you're hunting in Utah, you're not going to do that.
No.
Right? Or if you're hunting in Arizona in the desert, or Pinyon Pines in New Mexico, whatever. It's going to change, guys, as we're listening. So this is a very unique situation. I think the other place you could do this is maybe like coastal Oregon or something, right?
Yep.
So just a clarification.
Yeah, exactly. But most of the time we're always leaving between 2 and 3 in the morning, pretty early, because we like either getting down in with them, because we've had a lot of good luck in that first light movement. There is times where we have literally had bulls and talking all day long, but it seems like one that, going back to kind of the wolves, once they finally moved in, they kind of tightened them up to where they didn't want to talk as much. So you either had to have early mornings or late evenings.
So you're starting, you said something there. You start low, right? Which is pretty consistent with anybody that knows anything about elk, right? Yep. You're starting low, and you're just kind of working in, calling about maybe 100 yards from the truck. Do you guys have like a rule of thumb? Okay, truck's parked. I close the doors. We're out of here. Before you make your first call, or do you call from the road? Or
so usually I just sit in the truck and let Tyler go over the bank, and if I hear a bugle, I'll get ready.
So Jacob, I want to know what your opinion is on, and I'm guilty of this. Sometimes, first thing in the morning, I'll be driving along, and I'll stop about every half a mile or mile, and I'll bugle. Now, I shut the truck off and let it set for a couple minutes, and then I'll get out and bugle. And, again, that, I think, is super unique to North Idaho because of all our logging trails and all these Forest Service roads and all this stuff. Like, I would never have done that in Utah or Colorado or Wyoming. Yeah. Maybe one spot in Wyoming that I know of, but I only fly fished that area. I never hunted it. Yeah. So, anyway, what is your opinion on that? Am I wasting my time?
No, I mean,
I almost killed a bull that way one time.
I mean, it works. Yeah. But yeah, when I'm hunting with Tyler, I just sit in the truck, and I mean, when we're hunting, I get out sometimes, but most of the time I say, you go over the bank, and I hear a bull, I'll get ready. But if not,
have you ever burned your mouth on coffee because you were blown away? You just got a response right there.
So last year we were at the spot, and I'm pouring down rain, and I'm sitting there, and next thing I know, I just hear a bull bugle. And I'm like, I didn't hear him make a cow call or nothing. And we had 6 bulls bugling that day. I mean, he just walked over the edge, and I'm like, he's like, came up to the truck just with a big shit-eating grin on his face, and he's just like, let's go. So it was pretty cool. So, but.
I envy the friendship you guys have, and like you guys, I could tell you guys are like shooting each other looks, because you guys have this history, and you know what the other one's gonna say and how the other one's gonna react, kind of thing.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
It's pretty cool.
Not a lot of people have that.
No.
Yeah, there's been many times I come back after getting bulls talking, and he's sitting there, got his feet up on my mirror, just kicked back, like, yep, I heard him, let's go. And I'm like, is she ever gonna call, man? Nope, that's what I got you for.
So circling back, Tyler, to I'm like way interested in this whole setup you got here, because I geek out when it comes to calling in any kind of animal. I don't care if it's coyotes or bull elk or I don't know what else you call in, polar bears, something.
Anything we can.
Yeah. Anything we can. Oh, I won't say that. We don't talk about Democrats that way. Jeez, folks. What the heck? Anyway, when you are, let's say you get out, you lock the truck up and you head off into the woods, right? And you're hitting a ridge or you're starting low, whatever. At what point do you determine that it's time to make that big display, I guess is what I'll call it?
A lot of times I'll do it just walking through every now and then, but most of the time I do it when we have a bull like across the canyon that's hung up. He's like, nah, I'm not coming.
Okay.
It's right about that like 9, 10 o'clock, about their bedtime, when they go lay down for midday.
Midday?
Yeah, their midday lull. And I've had guys look at me, and even some well-experienced hunters, and they go, you're not going to pull that bull across there. It's about his nap time. I'm going to go take a nap for the day, and then get up to their evening things. And I just look at them and go, just watch this. And I'll go down there, and I got some video I'll have to show you, Jim, and Jacob took of it, and I'm just running back and forth, just doing all this stuff, moving. And that bull literally come from 1.5 miles at 9:30, 10 o'clock, all the way to us within 30 yards of us.
Whoa.
And he stayed there for 45 minutes.
When you say midday, give me an idea of what time.
It's about that 10:30, 11, that.
So that's my favorite time to call bulls, but that's just my opinion.
Yeah, that's... about that, when that sun really starts peaking, that 10:30-ish area, and they start trying to go bed down, and you can hear them bugle from their beds every now and then, but they'll still come, but, that's when I start doing that, and then they get, especially during the peak of the rut.
So when you're doing that, there's a bull there, or do you ever do that as like a cold calling thing?
I've done it a little bit of both ways, actually. Have you? Yeah. And the thing with the cold calling is you got to be ready, because you just start doing that, and all of a sudden they'll just come running at you.
And how long are you doing that? Can you do it again for us? I just got to hear that again. Let me hear that again. Throw that reed back in your mouth, because that's crazy. That's again, keep in mind, guys, this is one dude doing this, making all this ruckus. That's nuts. How long do you do that for?
It just depends.
A few minutes, or
I've done it for a few minutes. I've done some for 5-10 minute calling sequences, just running. I mean, I got videos of just mad dash, just running through the woods, just sounding like whole elk. And I'll stop, and then I'll do that and just instantly drop it all and just start screaming and raking trees and sound like there's a bull losing his cows, and it just gets them going nuts.
That's okay. So you've got that going on. Do you ever do that alone, or do you have like either a client or like Jacob with you?
I've done it alone. It's a lot harder when you're alone, because then you got to make sure that you can hear that bull like coming in, so then you can run down in front of where you just were calling, because up here it's so thick.
Yeah.
That they got to come for us to get a shot. We're looking at maybe 20 yards sometimes. Mm-hmm. Well, most of the time they always get to that 60 to 100 yard range, and that's where they're like, whoa.
They hang up.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's where you're like, you got to make sure you can hear them coming, so then you can break past where you just were calling and get to that area where you might be able to get a shot. And that's where it gets tough when you're by yourself. But yeah. I have got lots of shots by myself that way.
Okay.
Until last year, I didn't get any.
Yeah.
I've missed.
Well, I mean,
but
we've all missed.
I had opportunities, man.
You're bow hunting.
But, bow hunting. That's the thing. It's like I've killed 14 elk. Mm-hmm. And I mean, that's pretty good, I think. I mean, it's not.
How old are you?
27.
Okay, yeah, that's really good.
Yeah.
If you were 80, no, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. If you're 80 and you killed 14 bulls, that's pretty damn good, actually.
But I've called in just as many for clients the same way.
Yeah.
So I think about like, well, I got to think about that too. Like all the ones I've got clients, it's like.
Yeah.
Do you ever have clients and you start doing that for, and they turn around and look at you like, what in the freaking world are you doing, dude?
I've literally been on a spot that was so steep. We got this bull to come across the draw like that, and it was steep, but it was big timber, and the guy is sitting there looking back at me, and the bull walks below him at 40 yards.
Oh,
he doesn't get a shot. And I'm looking past him at the bull, and the bull's standing there broadside.
See, that kind of stuff, I couldn't be a guide, man. I'd be pissed.
It gets real tough. I've called in bulls where I had one guy shoot a bull at 18 yards, and his dad loved these guys to death. He was, I think, 56, and his dad was 74, and his dad had Parkinson's. So he was out there trying, and he was trying to shoot an old recurve bow that he made himself and everything. And
really?
It was awesome. Sweet. And I ended up bringing in this bull right across this trail because we were hunting this easy walking trail for him because it's easier for him. Mm-hmm. And I bring this bull right across this trail to him, and this bull is standing there at 20 yards from him, and he's sitting there the whole time just shaking, looking at this bull. And the bull walks off, and his son walks up and goes, "Dad, why didn't you shoot that bull?" He's like, "Well, it's like 35, 40 yards, wasn't it?" He goes, "No, Dad, it was 20 yards. I could have shot it like 5 times.
That's nuts. That's awesome.
They come back for 5-6 years after that and hunted me every year.
Really?
And they just loved it. Every time we had bulls in front of them, and they didn't get any more after that one hunt, but they had them right up close and personal.
What all do you guys guide for? Just elk or?
So I guide spring bear, and we do spring bear hunts, and hopefully doing some turkey hunts pretty soon. So trying to.
You guys are gonna add that?
Yeah,
we're
adding
hunts?
the turkey hunts, and then.
You should come out here, dude. I got lots of turkeys here.
Yeah.
My dog killed one the other day.
Oh yeah.
He's gonna get me a ticket, man.
So, and then fall we do spring or fall bear, elk, then deer, then we do some moose hunts if we're lucky to get a tag. So this year we actually got 2 non-residents coming. So me and Tyler are both guiding moose hunts in Unit 4, and then there might be one more coming. So, and then we do lion hunts too. And so,
do you run your own hounds?
So we both got hounds. So,
do you?
I haven't guided with them yet, but I'm just getting into hound hunting. So,
but you don't like guide for wolves or anything?
No, the fishing game we're trying to figure it out. But
they don't like that.
It's actually legal.
Oh,
to have
is
someone to come shoot a wolf out of your trap and stuff. So I mean, because they got to have the trap.
What if you've got a client that has a wolf tag? And you're hunting mule deer, and you got your rifle. The client has a rifle, and he sees a wolf. Can he shoot it?
So I had a guy from Hawaii. His partner wanted to shoot a bear, so I put him on a bear bait. They didn't really want to hunt elk. They came up, and he wanted to kill whitetail. He killed the whitetail, And so we're just waiting on his buddy. We go back, and next thing we know, we see this wolf running across the hillside, and 108 yards. And I said, I don't want to stop it because I didn't want to scare it. So I said, as soon as he comes out in the opening, give it to him. And he shot right behind it, and it just went up the hill. So yeah, we can guide wolf hunts.
Okay.
We haven't, but for trapping and wise, you can't. So,
yeah.
So anything, if you have a tag for it, we can guide for it. So, and besides turkey in the national forest. So, I mean, but
is that a thing? Like you can't guide for turkey or?
I'm not sure the rules on turkey. Usually, there seems like there's coming a lot more turkeys now in the national forest. So maybe one day it'll change where we can.
Dude, there's tons, man. I'm not one of those dudes that necessarily relates spring turkey hunting to elk hunting in the fall.
Yeah.
In terms of, the rut and all that. But it was like a rut fest up in the national forest for me this last year. I had turkeys everywhere. It was fun.
And it seems like, just right here up in Twin Creek on our bear bait, I bet we have half dozen gobblers. Clients are sitting there and they're looking at a turkey but just can't. I'm not sure the reason why we can't, but
interesting.
So I know we just, haven't been able to do it yet, but
That's
I'm
crazy.
hoping this spring we'll be able to, we've got some private property leasing Tyler's ranch too, so get some turkey hunters.
Spot there.
Yep.
When we came up and looked at this property, it was like end of April, beginning of May or whatever, and I didn't have a rifle or a shotgun on me or anything, but my girls and we hear this turkey gobbling down just off this flat here, and I called him right to us, man.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, man, because it was season, I could have shot him, but I didn't bring. We were looking at a property. I didn't bring a gun to shoot him, but anyway, it was pretty fun.
Yeah, turkey hunting. It's a lot of fun. Especially put a bow in your hand and try to do it.
It's a lot of action. That's what I like about it. It's not like, you go 2 days in between here and one. You know, if you're in the right spot, it's a lot of action.
Right.
Like out on our ranch, you can literally walk out there and walk under their roost and have probably 25 gobblers going nuts at you. And we just go over there and get everybody set up in the blinds, and it's still not like some people think, oh, it's super easy. You're just gonna set up right there.
It's not easy.
They're gonna come
it's
right
just
down
action.
in there. Yeah. And even then, we've set up like that right underneath their roost or close to it.
Mm-hmm.
They don't even come in or come near us.
Interesting.
It's not. It's fun.
Yeah,
it's not easy like everybody says. It's hunting.
Yep.
Yeah, it's hunting. It's still hunting for
That's why
sure.
we all love it.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So, do you have a patent on your lanyard call setup?
You should.
A copyright situation? Because I'm going to make one, and it's going to be called the Western Huntsman Tyler Edition. And there's nothing you could do because I'll get the patent.
No,
you better hurry.
I just come up with it one day. I was shopping in North 40 or I think it's North 40 or Cabela's one day, and I was like, you know what? I got so many dang calls. I'm tired of all the different strings.
Uh-huh.
I'm just going to get one where I can...
It's actually pretty brilliant. I've never seen
man.
that before, except for I have a lanyard like that for fly fishing.
Yeah.
I got my floating and my fly box and whatever, and it's like this lanyard setup, and that way I don't have to wear the vest or whatever.
Yeah.
So I like it better. But okay, I'm going to hit you guys with some lightning rounds. Of elk hunting questions and we can go into October hunting too. So if anything applies to both, or if I ask something that specifically changes in your mind from, guiding experience or whatever, like for example, the full moon affects them big time during the rut, but maybe not in October. I don't know. I don't know that kind of stuff. So, start with that full moon. What does a full moon do to rutting elk in September?
Keeps them up all night, in my opinion.
Is it a good thing or a bad thing?
Just depends. If you're looking to get on them first thing in the morning, it can be great. Sometimes by about 7 o'clock, though, they're already headed towards their bedding areas because they've been up for...
They're done for a few hours.
Yeah, they've been up for 12 hours just going nuts.
So have you ever heard when I get Durham on? And we talk about midday madness and how we're calling them in. I feel like that is most effective during a full moon because of what you said.
Yep.
They're in bed early, so they're ready to get a little, frisky midday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So last year me and Justin, we were going up this ridge, and I believe it was pretty close to full moon. And we had a bull bugle right off the bat, and then he pretty much we got close, almost killed him. And then we're just sitting up there 10:30, 11 o'clock. We had a bull kind of off the far, bugle, and so we're like, oh, we'll just go split up and do some cow calling midday and see. Next thing I know, Justin come running down to me doing 3 cow calls, trying to get my attention real quick. And yeah, sure enough, 11 o'clock, I mean, we had this bull in this dark timber, and I mean, he just went off, and I mean, I sat there 25 yards listening, breathing heavy, and he had a cow that was talking to Justin. And I mean, and as soon as I heard that the cow left, and I could hear the bull still panting, and he raked a tree, and then as soon as I heard that bull leave, I mean, I snuck right in there, and I mean, and seen him and stuck him, and yeah.
That's freaking cool.
It was pretty sweet. So
you made me think of this question. It's a little off topic, but when it comes to Justin, and we're talking about Justin Webb, the executive director of F4WM, is he as serious and as formal with you guys when you're hunting as he is with me when I talk to him like twice a year?
We make him.
He's got to get out of his comfort.
Okay. Yeah, I was just curious. He's so formal. Yeah. And I'm like, Justin, you got to relax, dude.
Man, you should have seen the first time he ever come hunting with us. He just looked at us like, are you guys serious, man?
Yeah.
And after that, it's been fantastic. All 3 of us will go out, and it's just
have a good time.
He's such a good dude, man. I love the story he told because he was on the show. Well, he's been on the show a couple times, but the first episode, how he grew up on the Pack River and his dad's dragging the kids down by their ears to wash them in the river, and it's cold. And I mean, I love that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
We got some grouse and some deer stories we'll have to tell you.
Mountain lion.
Some mountain lion stories about Justin.
A little off-air kind of stuff.
Oh, no, they'd even be good for listeners, but they're funny. You'd get a kick, man.
I love it, man. I love it. It's what's great about the whole, the community that is hunters, you know? Yeah, good stuff. Where were we? We were talking about full moons?
Full moon, yep.
Let's move to, and I'm going to ask, I want, they don't have to be different answers, but separate answers. I'll start with you, Tyler. If you were to, let's say you got a new job in the big city, and you had to wear a suit and tie, and you only had 7 days that they would give you to go hunting in September, what 7 days would you pick?
Probably the 15th through, so what is this? 15th through
like the 22nd kind of
thing?
Okay.
Yeah.
And is there any particular reason? What, do you feel like they're more vocal? Do you feel like they're more responsive? Do you feel like they're more dumb, rutted up, whatever you want to call it? You know what I mean?
Just because I feel like I got a better chance at getting in on them. They're sometimes at the first part of season they can kind of be a little not ready to rut. Yeah, the rut hasn't fully kicked on, and then generally by the middle towards the end, that all right, they're going to be, at least there's going to be some bull somewhere that's still looking for a hot cow.
Mm-hmm.
And then all the different cycles of the cows are going through their their
estrus cycle kind of thing.
Yeah. There's going to be one somewhere that's going to have a bull going.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll always be able to find that bull because he won't be able to keep his mouth quiet.
Okay.
Yeah.
How about you, Jacob? Does it change at all?
Yeah, the middle of the month seems like the best time. I mean, but I follow the moon phase a little more too. I mean, go back to that. I mean, so that after the full moon, that like where it goes to a third of the moon or
what is our full moon phase this year? I'm gonna look that up real quick.
So it's like a week after the full moon. It seems like the best I've had best luck for it. So
just because that would be good information to have. I'm googling here. Watch out. Full moon September 2021 right there. I had an app, and when I got my new phone, for some reason that app didn't come over. It's actually cool because it would tell you, okay, it's a full moon that day, but it's only a full moon at nighttime for like 3 hours. So it doesn't have the same effect where if the full moon rises at, 7 o'clock at night, you're going to have all night long of full moonness, and that's different versus one that's coming up at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Yeah. Oh, man. So. See why I bitch about my internet every time? I'm going to try something else.
My phone says full moon's 9:20 this year. So,
9:20? Okay.
So basically, I mean, I'm hoping to be done the first week so I can get the wolf trapping. But so like 4 or 5 days after the full moon, it seems. So that last 10 days this season's probably going to be, hopefully be good. So
yeah, September. Okay, so this is helpful too. Full moon, September 20, it's going to rise at 7:54 p.m. So that's going to tell me that it is going to be pretty bright all night long. So those bulls are going to be bedded down before the sun even comes up. Mm-hmm. Would you guys agree with that?
Yeah, that's.
So if you look at the full moon calendar, this is always something I like. I kind of geek out on this. I don't geek out on it too much, but I think I learned it from fishing. No. So, big time barometric pressure and moon phase and all that kind of stuff really applies to fishing. So, okay. Man. What is this thing doing? What is that?
You want a free guide?
Free guide. How to start a vegetable garden. No. Criminy. All right, so September. I don't know what this thing does, but anyway, not to spend too much time in the weeds on this, but I just think that I was trying to find out if they had a time where, how many hours during the night, like September 25th, is that brighter moon going to be? So last quarter, September 28th. So new moon, September 6th. So that first, from like the 5th through the 8th or 9th is going to be pretty stellar. Mm-hmm. It's going to be very dark. First quarter is going to be September 13th, so you're going to have a half a moon, and then that's going to, move into that full moon by the 20th, and then last quarter, September 28th. So if you're one of those hunters out there that is super concerned about the full moon, you want to look that up because that's going to make a big difference, and then find out what times the moon is coming up. So like last quarter, September 28th, it doesn't come up till about 10 o'clock at night. You're going to have quite a bit of light there for most of the night. But 4:41 p.m. for that first quarter on September 13th means that moon is going to be gone. Around 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, I believe. I'm no moon scientist, but we'd have to verify that. Yeah. So anyway, hopefully that helps somebody.
Well, we're looking though, like August. I mean, the full moon was a week ago?
Uh-huh.
Less than a week ago.
Yep.
So, and I think a lot of it, like the estuarine rut. I mean, so like the first is what Mike Cregan taught me back in the day. Like, so we got like 3 stages of rut basically. Mm-hmm. So you got August when they first start coming in. Then in September you got the second basically into September or whenever the full moon is or whatever. I mean, it just depends on the moon phase. And then like in October you got that last rut or whatever. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, but that's basically how I was taught. So, I mean, but the estrus is basically off the moon. I mean, so that was what I was basically.
A lot of it, yeah. Or so, the sun, the amount of light. Okay, this thing's throwing pop-ups like freaking Biden throws gas prices around. Okay, who said that? We getting political?
Oh, sir.
So we talked about moon phase. We talked about favorite weeks. Did we covered your favorite week? That mid-month.
Mid-month.
I think that pretty much like covers a lot of that, right? I mean, is there anything else you guys would want to add? Well, let me ask you this: what is like in your mind and separately, and whether you use your guide experience or just what you see on like social media or whatever? What are like one of the biggest mistakes each hunter makes? Who wants to start? When it comes to elk, September elk.
You want to go?
No, go ahead.
Kick us off, Tyler.
I'd say one of the biggest mistakes is not knowing when to be aggressive and when not to be.
So can you give us an idea of like when is it absolutely no doubt in your mind it is time to be aggressive?
For me, I noticed that when I've really got this bull, I've been hearing him all day or for a few hours, and I just got him just worked up, and he just, he won't budge. He's kind of hanging, and then that's kind of when I'll do my entourage here, and I'll just hit him. I'll hit him, and I'll take off after him. I mean, there's times we've caught bulls chasing him. They're trying to get out of there, and we'll just go barrel down straight in after them, and they'll just stand there like, you're coming after me? I don't think so. And then it just turns into a big who's bigger. And then we've ended up getting them, or at least having them in bow range.
Yeah.
Then there's sometimes you can tell, like I mean, we've named so many different bulls. You know, we got the squealer bull and then the chicken bull, and then there's some we can't say on air. And
the chicken blankety blank bull.
He just bolts. You know, and it's like I'm gonna get you, man. But
So, not being aggressive at the right time.
Yeah.
Basically, is there a scenario you can like work out where it's like somebody's being aggressive when they absolutely should not be being aggressive? And here, I'll give you a vocalization. All right, let's say you're out there and you send off a little locate bugle. And I ask this of everybody for School of September. Where's my bugle tube? There it is. So and the reason I ask this every to everybody is I hear this every year and I never know what to do. Right? So it's I let off a locator bugle and I get this back. That's it. And that's basically what it sounds like. And I never know. I know not to go crazy aggressive. It's not like I challenge them or anything. But I try to finesse them, and then they always go silent on me. Do you have a recommendation on that one? It's that lazy laying in their bed kind of thing.
Yeah, I've got. So when I hear that, depending on my mood, 'cause sometimes I'm just so amped up that I got to calm myself down. Like Jacob's like, "Hey man, calm down." And I'm like, "I can't," you know.
I get that way too.
Yeah, you know, but if I can contain myself, we'll try to go sneak in on them, or sneak in on him as close as we can, and then just kind of try to get him to do that every now and then. So then when he finally gets up, his first option is to come to us. To come see, hey, what was all that noise down there?
What do you mean? How are you responding to him though? With cow calls or with like some?
Yeah, like cow calls.
Just a little locator bugle, or
mostly I do just some soft cow calls.
Okay.
You know, real soft and just kind of like, I'm over here. Hey, you know,
you throw a hoochie mama at him?
Yeah.
No.
I try not to use them too much.
Unless he's doing his crazy.
I am going to retract all the fun I have made at the Hoochie Mama after I heard that whole sequence you did there, man. Like the Hoochie Mama has been the blunt of many jokes on this show.
Oh yeah.
But it makes sense in that kind of scenario, right?
Yeah, and that's just what I've told guys. I've told guys that, have got 15, 20 years of hunting experience. Like, man, I just can't get this bull to come or something. And I'm just, I'll try something like this. Just try doing it to where you sound like a herd, because where do elk feel natural? When they're in a herd together.
Sure.
Because more eyes, more, they feel comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can sound like that, man, sometimes they'll just come barreling in at you, and it's just amazing how they come in.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
They come running in with, not even trying to smell you or nothing.
Yeah. Okay. Makes sense, man. Jacob. How about you, man? What is like the number one mistake for September elk hunters in your mind?
So playing the wind. You can't beat an elk's nose.
Wait, did you listen to this? That's my answer every time.
So
no, I'm kidding.
Yeah. If you don't have the wind right, you ain't gonna get nothing.
Yeah.
So that with any hunting. Even when you're trying to call wolves or elk, or it doesn't matter. Animal's nose is the best thing. You can have all the best gear in the world, and they're still going to smell you. I always
thought it would be so, if I was like a scientist, all the things they're working on inventing, and I know this isn't that important in the grand scheme of, the human experiment, but I would love to invent this thing that could show us how elk smell, or bears even more so, right? Like just if we could experience the magnitude of their smells, I think it would make a big difference, with how we understand these animals and how we can hunt them.
It'd be amazing.
Yeah, like this thing you strap it on, like instead of a COVID mask, you put it over your nose.
Yep.
And every time you sniff, you could smell just as good as an elk.
Yep.
So, wouldn't that be amazing?
Like, man, we smell bad. Jeez.
I'd probably shower more. I need to switch soaps.
Yeah. The wind.
Yeah.
It's the biggest thing for me. So.
Yeah, I totally knew we were gonna get along. That's always my answer. Wind is.
Yeah.
So and the only reason it is for me is because nobody taught me that as a kid. I grew up hunting, and nobody talked about the wind, and nobody talked about thermals and how thermals, how they're different than like a prevailing wind in the Midwest. You'll watch a lot of these staged hunting shows on these Midwestern farms where they're constantly in a deer stand, and they talk about the prevailing wind, right? Well, that is so different. So if you're listening to this in like Texas, where it's flat and you have those prevailing winds, 3 o'clock every day, the southwest wind picks up. It's so different than a mountain thermal, and how the mountain thermals affect, elk, in my opinion, live by these mountain thermals. Yeah. And that's why they go up in the morning, they go down at night, that these mountain thermals dictate their life. And so it's just such a big deal to me.
Sometimes, like the last couple of years, it seems like they're blowing either direction too. You just can't win either.
I know. Well, and the slightest breeze can throw them off. It's just a real complex thing. And I wrote an article once about mountain thermals, and I always want to like get really in depth with it one time, because it's so complex, like you said. A storm that is only affecting that mountain range can have a huge impact on your thermals, and like, so it could change your strategy, where normally you wouldn't go down there because of the way the thermals are going. Well, now that storm, and if you're paying attention, is pushing those thermals the other way, you can actually make a play on that elk.
Yeah, it's just like the archery bull I ended up killing last year. It was the same way. The only way the wind would stay in our favor is when we had a cloud of fog come at us.
Yeah, the fog. Yeah, the fog will change your thermals like crazy.
So anytime the fog would come up, like, all right, let's go. So
I'm glad you said that.
We'd take off down there, and then all of a sudden it disappeared, and we'd jump back to the other side of the ridge. Yeah, and then finally we had a steady, consistent fog coming up there, and we dove back over and split up, and he, it's a spike, but he come up at 28 yards, and I got him. That was the first archery one I ever got.
That's crazy.
All the years I've hunted.
It's crazy. Well, I feel like we've kicked off like this friendship where I feel like you guys are going to be back in the studio.
Oh yeah.
You guys good with that?
Heck yeah, dude.
Because I like having you guys. You guys are my peeps, man.
Yes, sir.
This is the kind of conversations I really like to have. Do you guys have like an Instagram or a website you want anybody to know about, or a Facebook page or anything like that?
I got Facebook and Instagram. So
Facebook and I just pushed your mic, dude. Sorry.
Facebook and Instagram.
What's your Instagram handle?
Shoot, I think it's JD9.
Am I following you on Instagram? Or
I'm not sure.
I don't know either, man. Instagram's confusing because it's never by anybody's name.
Yeah.
Except for mine. Mine's easy. It's at the Western Huntsman, which, by the way, if you're listening to this and you're not following at the Western Huntsman,
do it.
Do it, right?
So it's JD or J _ D 1988-3 is my Instagram.
All right. So text that to me so I can put it in the show notes. Yep. And do you have Instagram?
I don't do. Well, I probably do. The wife does all that stuff. I'm more just Facebook.
Okay.
Tyler Oaks or Oaks Unlimited LLC. We do a lot of stuff on there. So
Oaks, you guys are doing taxidermy. You're doing skin. You're making. You've got an excavator.
Yeah.
A little bit of everything, man.
Everything. We're trying to do a little bit of everything and getting into it.
Woodworking.
So. Yep.
Yeah, so I'm gonna hire Tyler to make us a new entry sign for our driveway here that we just moved to. Pretty excited about it.
Yeah.
Because my wife and I we've been looking for somebody to make it, and it's like I don't want to like hire somebody we don't know, give them our money, and then never see the sign kind of thing. I'm leery, man. I'm leery of people anymore.
It'll turn out good. I mean, it does good work. So.
I feel like it will. And if it doesn't, I'm going to bring it back.
Good. Yeah. I'll redo
it. And I don't think it'd be fair to end this without talking about F4WM because you're wearing the hoodie. Yep. F4WM is having their very first course. This is going to be after the fact by the time. Is it in Flathead or is it in Kalispell?
Oh, I think it's the Flathead chapter. But it's in Kalispell. Tomorrow at 3 o'clock, but I think they're sold out. So
yeah, I think they are. Because I was actually considering going to that, and then I looked on. They're sold out for sure. So. But
Yeah.
It's a good thing. If you folks are in Montana, you need to check out F4WM and look into that organization. They're going to help get these wolves under a management system that actually works and reimburses hunters and trappers specifically that spend a lot of time and money and effort to get out there and get some of these wolves under control. Again, the goal isn't to annihilate wolves. It's just to manage them. You know, just like anything else, they need to be managed. So I think that's an important mission. So guys, I appreciate you coming on. This has been a fun school of one of the funnest ones, man. I have never seen somebody show up with a lanyard full of multiple different calls like that.
Well,
so
I can't wait to show you in the mountains this couple
I'd
days.
love to. I just want to come and watch you do that. I don't care. I won't be shooting.
No, if you're coming, bring your bow.
Okay.
Just like today, we had 2 coming straight at us.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. So. I'd love to be like, the bull I killed this year was because of Tyler Oaks' insane setup.
Yep.
All right? I love it, brother. All right, guys, any closing thoughts or anything you want the audience to know?
Have a great September and October elk season, guys.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah, that's a great point. Guys, as you're heading out, it is, the 27th of August right now, or 26th? I don't know. One of those days. It's just about elk season, and I do want you guys to know, for anybody that is heading out there, it is really important that you guys keep that eye on the prize. You know what I mean? And don't take your foot off the gas or any other weird saying I can come up with to help you guys understand that those elk are not going to be shot sitting on your couch or watching Facebook or anything else like that. Get out there in the woods. If things that you're trying aren't working, try something different. Try a different way to call. Try a different area. Switch drainages. Watch your wind. Watch your moon phase. All that kind of stuff. Get out there. If I'm going to take a picture of Tyler's elk calling setup, and if you guys need to hook up something like that, I'm thinking about it. And guys, get out there. Good luck. Also, as we go through hunting season, just like we do every year, guys, as you get animals down and tags on them, send your pictures of those to jim@thewesternhuntsman.com, and I'll share them on our social media pages. Congratulations will be sent your way. And stay tuned for more information on all of that, guys. Good luck out there. Thank you.
You made it all the way to the end. Thank you so much for tuning into the show. We sure appreciate your support. This is Jim Huntsman signing off and reminding you to check us out at Instagram at The Western Huntsman and on Facebook at The Western Huntsman. And you can also check out the website at thewesternhuntsman.com. Thanks again. We'll see you guys next time. Stay Western, and I'll see you on the mountain.